welcome to Talks with Nelly. I'm your host, Janelle. Here we talk about pretty much everything from spiritual talks to what's on the top of my mind to gossip tea to world news, everything. We talk about it all. Anyways, again, I'm your host, Janelle, and today's topic is going to be 8 signs someone loves you even though they never say it. So let's get into it. So, have y'all ever noticed how love can be confusing? Sometimes you may think someone loves you and it turns out they don't. Or sometimes you may think someone doesn't care for you, but their actions show otherwise. So, I'm going to break down some of the signs to make you more aware of if someone really loves you or not. Love is not always toxic or chaotic. Sometimes it could just be unspoken. Sometimes people shout it out loud and proud, and behind closed doors they lie. Sometimes the vice versa, the other way around. So a lot of us was taught that love is supposed to be loud, clear, and constantly verbal. But some people just didn't grow up like that. Some people had to learn how to survive. Some people had to learn how to provide, how to stay. Not everyone is very vocal about their love towards other people. The first sign is they show up when it actually matters. So showing up doesn't necessarily mean they have to be around you all the time, 24/7, under your skin. It's about them being present when it really counts. It's about them showing up for you when you probably would least expect it or when you expect it the most. Either or. It's like, will that person still be there for you even if your world gets confusing? Even when everything goes wrong, are they going to lean towards you and comfort you? Or they're going to push back and say, look, you got this. I'm out. They're going to run away. You could really tell a lot by how they move when you're in a vulnerable state. Sometimes life gets overwhelming. Sometimes you have your ups and downs. Sometimes it's just downhill. And well, at least it feels like everything's downhill. Is that person showing you like they genuinely care? Are they genuinely being there for you in a time of need? When there's nothing to gain from the situation? Are they actually there, or do they just claim they're busy? It's like little details, little signs that would show when someone truly cares for you. And by showing up, it's just a gesture or a hint that this person actually loves you. They really love you. Everybody's love language is different, and it's the consistently showing up when it matters, when it really matters. That's the important part to it. Okay, so sign number 2 is they listen and remember. So listening to someone is easy because anyone could just listen. Y'all could just listen to me right now, and the next 2 hours you just forget what I'm saying, and you're moving on with your day. And with love, when you're trying to see if someone genuinely loves you, it's kind of like the same type of concept. Someone who really loves you will remember what your triggers are, will remember what you tell them about you, will remember what makes you happy, what makes you comfortable, not just hear you out and just do everything completely opposite, do what they feel like. Is a difference in that type of person, and they're gonna move differently. Remembering is intentional. You have to be intentional to remember someone triggers so you could avoid it. You have to be intentional to remember someone love language. Maybe that person love language is giving or receiving or doing or kind gestures. You remember that person, remembering the fact that that person took time to remember and actually put action in towards that, that's a big gesture. Like, okay, this person is really for you. The love is actually there. Because let me tell you, if you really don't love someone, remembering for what? You're gonna do what you feel like is best for them, and you're gonna keep moving on, because that's just how someone who doesn't really care or could be selfish will move. Like, they're just gonna think of themselves, like, okay, so I feel like this person should have this, and move on with it. Remembering someone words and their feelings and how they feel will let you know, like I said, if that person loves you or care for you. Also, when someone listens and moves on with their life, that is a lot. That tells you a lot too. And it could be the smallest things. Like I said, not everything has to be like one big thing, like a birthday. Goodness gracious, if they don't remember your birthday, goodness gracious, you have some rethinking to do with that person, because damn. But it will fall down to how they really treat you, how they really feel about you. So sign number 2, when they listen and remember. Okay, listening and remembering, they both gotta go hand in hand. You don't want to just listen. All right, so let's go to sign number 3. The third sign is they protect your peace. You want to be around people that actually care to keep you in a calm state, that actually are considerate of you when you're in your happy mood. They want to keep you in a happy mood. I'm not saying they're going to be perfect, but at least they're more considerate than someone who just doesn't care about anything you do, don't care how you move, don't care what you're doing. They're going to be more considerate from that person. Like, they're not going to go out their way to embarrass you. They're not going to do certain things that will trigger you. They rather protect your peace. For instance, they know that you don't want them talking to someone or a particular person because maybe, you guys have problems or whatever the case is. They are considerate if they come around that person. For instance, cheating, or embarrassing you publicly by saying, outrageous things, or putting your business out there. Little things that people might do that they'll be like, let's not do this. Let's not do this here. You know what? It's not worth it. My partner would not appreciate this. So, I'm going to respect my partner, that's protecting your peace. Okay? That's protecting your peace. And also, not just cheating too, but when it comes to your feelings, they're not going to dismiss it. They're going to actually put an effort to make sure, everything runs smooth for you. They're gentle with you. They're gentle with your love. For the most part, they're understanding of your love, and they don't take it for granted, So if you come across that type of person, best believe, it's genuine, because they're not going to play you in your face intentionally. Because, you could do that unintentionally and you not know, but intentionally, they're not going to play you in your face. And if you find them playing your face, they're going to apologize and put in effort to not do that again, because like I said, nobody's perfect. So, but yeah, that's the third sign, them protecting your peace. Okay, so the fourth sign is when they adjust, not just apologize. And by adjusting, I mean they have actions towards their apology. Yeah, like I said before, not everyone's perfect, but the fact that you take in accountability, that fact that they could take accountability and apologize for their wrongdoings and actually move forward on being better and doing better, that says a lot about the person. That says they really care about you and they really prioritize you in their mind. And it all falls under love. But it's like them being self-aware. Like I said, if you come across a person that's always narcissistic, and whatever they do, and they have high ego and pride, and they're not gonna just bow down to you or whatever, you have to rethink that relationship, because that person, that's not love. You could compromise with someone out of love. You could compromise with that person. You could come to a resolution of something, and agree and grow. That's love. But if someone doesn't want to grow in their ways, and they want to continue to think that they're always right and gaslight you and make you feel doubtful about yourself, or make you feel doubtful about the way you think, you have to rethink that, because that's not love. That's manipulation. And there's a huge difference. Manipulation can look like love, but it's not. It leaves you stuck. It leaves you confused. It leaves you hopeless and helpless. So you got to really be careful on the type of people and the moves they'll try to move on you. The moves they'll try to put on you. Yeah, you got to really be careful. But if that person is able to take accountability and apologize and do better, then don't just push that person to the side, because they're actually putting the effort to want to be with you. They're actually putting the effort to improve the relationship. So that's the 4th sign. The 5th sign would be they include you in their future. So when I say that, I don't mean like, just, oh my gosh, we're going to have kids together. We're going to be a whole family. That's a part of their future. Don't get me wrong. But including is like plans, business plans, even further than that, spiritual plans, how they want to go about their spiritual journey with you, how they choose to include you in conversations that not necessarily involves you, but they choose to have your feedback on certain situations and, predicaments, and, how they should move as you do them. Like I said, when I'm giving you this rundown, I'm not just talking about, one person should pour into the other and that's it. But this should go both ways. Just as you expect from someone, you should resemble those traits and characteristics towards them as well. It should be reciprocal. Everything that you do should be reciprocal. So y'all want to be mindful about that. But back to the sign, they include you in the future. It's like a balance. Love is a balance. You have to really take that other person into consideration. You really, in love, you have to set your pride aside and really think about, okay, do I see my person? Do I see me settling down with this person? If you do, then that's a step forward. If they see you settling down with them, that's a step forward, and they will move accordingly. They will move as you're their wife or husband. They will move accordingly out of respect for you and your relationship. So include you in their future. Not selfish, but actually include you in the future. Include your thoughts, your opinions, because at the end of the day, when you guys settle with each other, y'all gonna become one. It's not, this is mine and this is hers and we're just separate. No, you guys are one. So you're gonna move as a unit. And you want to for someone to have that type of mentality is so important, because it's gonna separate stress from a peaceful and happy life. Okay, so the 6th sign is they respect your boundaries, and this is a big one. When you tell people you're not comfortable, when you tell your partner you're not comfortable with certain things, and you went through certain things, and this is where you draw the line, them crossing it or holding back from crossing it is going to speak a lot about how they feel about you. And it's going to speak a lot about their character, because if You think somebody that's constantly disrespecting you, pushing you, triggering you, and knowing this is all intentionally, knowing that this is going to hurt you, that's not love. Again, that falls under manipulation. It's not love. Love is kind. Love isn't perfect now. I'm not saying that you guys are always going to be peaceful and happy, live this happy life, because no one's perfect, but it's more understanding. You're more considerate of your partner. You understand their boundaries and you respect them enough not to cross those certain boundaries. And yeah, when you do, you gotta move accordingly. If they do, you move accordingly. Whether you warn them, like, look, this is the final warning, I'm not with this, we have to respect each other, or you move on. You got to do one or the other. But tolerating your boundaries being crossed, no, that's not love. You're being manipulated and you're falling for it. And that's why people end up stressed and depressed. So, and it's a healing too. It's someone, and that's another thing with love. Love can be healing to your soul, or it could feel like it's strangling you. It could feel either way. It is all in your mind, what you think it is, and how you expect your partner to act, and what you tolerate in that relationship. So, sign number 7, they're patient with your healing. As I been saying in this video, not everyone's perfect. Like, if you're expecting to meet someone that's just completely perfect, no flaws, it's just not realistic. You're going to be waiting forever. You're going to be single for life, because no one's perfect. Everyone comes with their own trauma. Everyone comes with their own baggage. Whether they know it or not, they come with their own baggage that you're going to have to work with them. They're going to work with your baggage. You're going to work with their baggage. It's when you guys are able to work with each other and, encourage each other, motivate each other. That's slowly healing. You're slowly healing each other. You can't, anybody that tries to weaponize your trauma or struggles against you, or rush the process, you have to really think to yourself, is this person actions showing love? Is this how I would treat this person that I genuinely love? You got to really keep asking yourself that, because that's going to bring you more clarity. How do you want to be treated? Do you want to be treated like your struggles, your trauma is useless? Do you want people to be considerate of that and kind of move out of respect towards that? A relationship could be healing, or a relationship could be depressing. It depends what you tolerate. It depends how your partner is and what you tolerate from your partner. Which all requires emotional maturity. Is your partner mature enough to understand your emotions? Are you mature enough to understand your partner's emotions, or are you quick to react based on how you feel or your assumptions? Or are they quick to react based on how they feel? Like I said, it goes both ways, and it's like, you got to really think before you make a move, or before you settle and give your heart to someone, because you just don't want to go through that. Or if they're physical with you, Lord, if they're beating you, that says a lot. Like, it won't last. Even though if you tell yourself it will last, things don't last like that. That's not love. That's the devil trying to manipulate your head. Okay. And the last sign I want to say, which is sign 8, is they choose you even when it's hard. And this is important, because misunderstandings could happen. Life gets stressful, and like I said, a lot of effort is required in these situations. And for them to choose you and still, and be able to miss out on whatever that is said that they're going to miss out, it says a lot about the person. It says they're willing to sacrifice what they got going on in order for y'all to work out, in order to see you happy. That's real love. Love ain't easy. I'm saying all this, but love is not easy, y'all. It's work. It's work, and it's constant work. It's nothing is perfect, but when you genuinely love someone and you're genuinely for someone, that work starts improving yourself. That work starts healing you as you do better with them, as you become a better person. It all coincides with each other. It all connects with each other. So those are the 8 signs that somebody can show that they love you without necessarily saying they love you. So in closing, I want y'all to think about this. When someone loves you, the actions will always follow behind it. It's not just about words saying, I love you, and you're my everything. But what actions do they show behind it? How considerate are they of you? Do they respect you? Do they respect your boundaries? Do they take accountability? Do they even put in the effort towards the relationship or whatever y'all trying to establish? That's real love. Love will show more than you can hear it. You can hear a lot of things, but what do you see out of that person? How do they make you feel? How do they treat you? These are the most important questions that you need to ask yourself. All right, so if this spoke to you, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to my page, and really, I will have more conversations like this. I try to have a diverse topics to talk about, because really I could talk about anything. I'm just that type of girl. I'm not really focused on one thing. I could talk about God, I could talk about the hood, I could talk about politics, I could talk about rap beef, I could talk about love, I could talk about jealousy, I could talk about it all. I'm just a talking machine. I could talk all the way. That's why it's called Talks with Nelly. But thank y'all for watching. I will be uploading more content like this and several other content, so stay tuned. Like, comment, share. I will be sharing the comments below again. Matter of fact, let me share some comments. So this part of the segment, I'm doing my shout outs because I appreciate the comments. I appreciate everyone. So shout out to Wavy RP Certified 1. He said, life do get hard, but remember, God give the toughest battles to strongest soldiers at the end of the day. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, smarter, sharper. Good video. Keep it up. Thank you. And I totally agree. What doesn't kill you make you stronger, because God will give the toughest battles to the people he feels is qualified for it. And those battles are what shape you in your future. So I agree. Shout out to you with your comment. Shout out to Eat Sports. EA. It's E Sports. EA. Eat Sports. That's an interesting thing. Shout out to him. He said blessings from Threads, because y'all know I be promoting my videos. I be trying to promote my videos. I be on Threads, on Instagram. You see me, I'm gonna promote this video. Okay. So shout out to you. Shout out to Circe Productions. He said let's go. Thank you for all y'all comments, and I hope to see you next video. Comment, like below this video. I will give you a shout out. I'll put your name and your tag, and appreciate you. Thank you everyone for watching this video, and I'll see you next video. Bye.